I can still picture it clearly. Just a few years ago, I would boil 2 eggs every single morning, truly believing I was doing something great for my health. After all, for decades, we were told eggs were the gold standard for protein, right? Then, at a routine checkup, Dr. Eli Morgan looked right at me and asked, "Are you sure you are getting enough protein to keep your muscles strong?" I actually smiled and said, "Of course I am. I eat eggs every day." He did not smile back. He just shook his head. And that was the moment I realized something most people over 60 never hear clearly. Eggs are a good source of protein, but they are not the best. And there are everyday foods out there that can give you far more usable protein per bite than you think. Because here is what is scary. When protein runs low, muscle loss does not announce itself. It happens quietly. Your steps get slower. Your legs feel weaker. And the risk of a fall starts climbing. That is why, here on Life, after 65, I am going to share the top 10 foods that can deliver more protein than eggs, ranked from number 10 all the way to a number 1 food researchers are exploring for helping people rebuild strength after serious setbacks. And yes, some of this may sound almost unbelievable, but I will keep it grounded in published research and practical choices you can actually use. Before we jump in, tell me in the comments where you are watching from, and if your energy has been lower lately. We read every comment. All right, let us get started. Quick note, every number you hear is protein per 100 grams in the form you usually buy it. For reference, whole egg is roughly around 13 grams of protein per 100 grams. For dry foods like grains, seeds, and powders, that means dry weight. For wet foods like yogurt, it means as is. That way, the ranking stays fair. Now, before we even get to the list, let me give you a simple, safe test you can do right now. In your living room, sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. If you need support, keep one hand on the chair or a countertop. Now stand up and sit down 5 times at a comfortable pace. No rushing. If that felt harder than it used to, if your legs shook, or you had to push off with your arms, do not panic. It does not mean something is wrong with you. It may simply mean your muscles are not getting enough building material, especially protein. All right, food number 10. Food number 10 is something you have probably seen 100 times, but never realized how much strength it could support. Non-fat, strained Greek yogurt. Per 100 grams, plain non-fat Greek yogurt is usually around 10 grams of protein, sometimes a little higher depending on the brand. Greek yogurt is quietly powerful because the straining process removes much of the extra liquid, so what is left is thicker, higher in protein, and often easier on digestion than regular yogurt. After 60, that matters because digestion can slow down, appetite can drop, and you want protein that is easy to eat and easy to use. Here is how to make it work for you. Choose plain, non-fat, strained Greek yogurt. Avoid the fruit on the bottom kinds loaded with added sugar. Then use it like a protein base. Stir in a handful of berries. Add a spoon of ground flaxseed or mix it with cinnamon and chopped nuts. You can also make it savory. Add a pinch of salt, pepper, and herbs. Then use it as a dip or a creamy topping for vegetables. And if chewing is hard some days, Greek yogurt is one of the easiest ways to get protein in without forcing yourself through a heavy meal. Now, coming up next is a food many people keep in their pantry for years, without realizing it can help protect their strength after 60. Food number 9, chickpeas. Per 100 grams dry, chickpeas are roughly 19 grams of protein. Once they are cooked, they absorb water, so the number per 100 grams looks lower, but the protein you are eating is still there. Chickpeas give you more than protein. They also give you fiber, something eggs do not provide at all, and that fiber matters for aging muscles because it supports steadier blood sugar, better digestion, and healthier gut bacteria. 3 things that influence how well your body uses the protein you eat. Here is the simple way to make chickpeas easier to digest. If you cook them from dry, soak them overnight. Then rinse and cook until they are soft. If you use canned chickpeas, rinse them well to reduce extra sodium. Then you can use them in 3 easy ways. First, blend them into a smooth hummus with olive oil and lemon. Second, toss them into soups or stews where they almost disappear but still add substance. Third, roast them with a little seasoning for a crunchy snack you can portion out during the day. And one more tip. If you struggle with appetite, chickpeas can be added in small amounts without feeling like a big meal, which makes them easier to stick with consistently. Now, food number 8 is small, simple, and often overlooked, yet it has a major advantage for older adults who want to stay strong. Food number 8, quinoa. Per 100 grams uncooked, quinoa is about 14 grams of protein. After it is cooked, water increases the weight, so the number per 100 grams drops, but the total protein you get from a normal portion is what matters. Quinoa is one of the few plant foods that provides a complete set of essential amino acids, meaning your muscles can actually use it efficiently to repair and rebuild. That is important after 60 because many people eat enough calories, but not enough of the specific building blocks muscles need. Here is the easiest way to make quinoa actually stick as a habit. First, rinse it well. Quinoa has a natural coating that can taste bitter if you skip this step. Second, cook it in a flavorful liquid, like low-sodium broth, instead of plain water. That makes it easier to enjoy and easier to keep in your routine. Then use quinoa in meals that feel normal. Add it to a warm bowl with vegetables. Mix it into a soup, or use it as a simple side dish, like you would with rice, but with a stronger protein profile. And if you want an easy protein boost, you can pair quinoa with Greek yogurt on the side, or add a soft egg on top. The point is not perfection. The point is making protein easy to repeat. If you want to keep this simple, I placed a few pantry staples from today, like quinoa and chickpeas, in the products shelf under this video, so you can compare options and pick what fits you. Now we are moving into a food that many athletes already swear by, yet a lot of seniors walk right past it. Food number 7, pumpkin seeds. Per 100 grams, pumpkin seed kernels are about 30 grams of protein. Pumpkin seeds are dense. That means you do not need a huge amount to get a meaningful protein boost, especially as a topper or add-in. But their real strength is not just the protein. They also contain key minerals. Older adults often run low on, like magnesium and zinc, nutrients that support muscle function and recovery. Here is the best way to use pumpkin seeds. Choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted seeds when you can. Then use them like a finishing touch. Sprinkle them over Greek yogurt. Add them to oatmeal. Blend a spoon into a smoothie, or crush them lightly and mix them into a salad. If you are watching your blood pressure, be careful with heavily salted seed mixes. It is easy to turn a healthy habit into a sodium overload without realizing it. And if chewing is difficult, grind the seeds and stir them into softer foods. You will still get the benefits without the strain. And if it helps, I added a few easy options in the products shelf below, like raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds and hemp hearts you can sprinkle on yogurt or oatmeal. No pressure. Just there to make it easier. Now, coming up next is a protein source that surprises most people over 60 because it is not just high in protein, it can also be easier to digest than you would expect. Food number 6 is next. And once you hear why it matters for your gut and your muscles, you may start keeping it in your kitchen every week. Food number 6, tempeh. Per 100 grams, tempeh is roughly 19 grams of protein. Tempeh is made from whole soybeans that have been fermented. And that one difference matters because fermentation can make a food feel lighter on the stomach and easier to digest for many older adults. Tempeh is also a complete protein, meaning it contains the essential amino acids your muscles need to repair and maintain strength. Here is the simplest way to start. Slice tempeh thin. Pan sear it with a small splash of olive oil, then add a little tamari or a squeeze of lemon for flavor. You can also crumble it into a stir fry, a soup, or a vegetable skillet, so it becomes part of a meal you already eat. And if you are new to it, start small. A few bites at first, then build up as your digestion adjusts. One important note, if you have a history of thyroid issues or you take certain medications, it is always smart to speak with your clinician about how soy fits into your routine. The goal is always safe, steady progress. Now, food number 5 is where the list starts to feel surprising because this one is not a typical dinner food. Food number 5, spirulina. Per 100 grams, spirulina powder is roughly 57 grams of protein. Spirulina is a concentrated source of protein, and many people use it in small amounts because it is so dense. What makes it useful for older adults is not just the protein, it's how easy it is to add without cooking, chewing, or a big appetite. But do not think of it as something you need in large doses. With spirulina, consistency matters more than quantity. Here is the easiest way to use it. Add a small spoon to a smoothie with something that masks the taste, like banana, berries, or cocoa. Or stir a small amount into oatmeal after it is cooked, so you do not overheat it. And if you try spirulina, choose a brand that is third-party tested for quality. With concentrated foods, quality matters, and especially after 60. Now pause for a second, because this is the mistake I see over and over again. Many people over 60 try to fix protein by eating one big heavy serving at dinner. But the body often responds better when protein is spread across the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so your muscles get repeated signals to repair and maintain strength. That is why the foods in this video matter, because they make protein easier to repeat without feeling stuffed or uncomfortable. And stay with me, because the number one food is the easiest to use when chewing is hard, and it can change what you are able to do day to day. All right, food number 4. Food number 4, hemp seeds. Per 100 grams, whole hemp seeds are roughly 31 grams of protein. Hemp seeds are another dense option, meaning you can add a small amount to foods you already eat and still get a meaningful protein boost. They also have a mild flavor and a soft texture, which makes them easier for many older adults than tougher, chewy foods. Here is how to use hemp seeds the simple way. Add a spoon to Greek yogurt, sprinkle them over cooked vegetables, stir them into oatmeal, or blend them into a smoothie. One tip, do not cook hemp seeds at very high heat. They are best added after cooking, as a topper, so you keep their natural qualities intact. And if you struggle with appetite, hemp seeds are a quiet win, because they increase nutrition without increasing meal size by much. Now, coming up next is where the list gets even more powerful, because food number 3 has a protein density that surprises almost everyone. It can look like an ordinary meat substitute, yet it can deliver a serious muscle-building punch when used the right way. Food number 3 is next, and after that we are going into the final 2 foods that most seniors have never even considered. Food number 3, seitan. Per 100 grams, seitan is usually in the high teens to mid-20s for protein, depending on how it is made and how much water it holds. Seitan is sometimes called wheat meat, and it is made from vital wheat gluten. That means it is extremely concentrated protein, one of the most protein-dense foods on this entire list when you look at protein per 100 grams. And for many older adults, that density matters because you can get a meaningful amount of protein without needing a large portion. Seitan also has a chewy, meat-like texture, which can make meals feel more satisfying, especially if you are trying to cut back on heavier meats but still want that familiar bite. Here is the fastest way to cook it so it tastes good, not dry. Slice seitan into thin strips. Pan sear it with a little olive oil, garlic, and herbs. Then add it to a stir fry, a vegetable bowl, or even a simple sandwich. If you want to make the protein in your meal work even better, pair seitan with vitamin C rich foods like bell peppers, tomatoes, or a squeeze of lemon. Now, one important safety note, seitan is not for everyone. If you have celiac disease, a gluten intolerance, or you know gluten triggers symptoms for you, skip this one completely. There are plenty of other options on this list that can still help you stay strong. Now we are down to the final two. And food number 2 is something many people already enjoy, yet they do not realize how powerful it can be in small amounts, especially after 60. Food number 2, Parmesan cheese. Per 100 grams, Parmesan is usually around 30 to mid-30s for protein, depending on the exact type and how it is measured. Parmesan is an aged cheese, and aging changes the structure of the protein inside. In a simple way, it means the cheese is already partially broken down. So many older adults find it easier to digest than you might expect. It is also very protein dense per 100 grams, so even a small serving can give you a noticeable protein boost. And that is the real advantage here. You do not need a big plate of cheese. You use it like a tool, just a little, added to the foods you already eat to raise the protein and make meals more satisfying. Here is how to use Parmesan the smart way. Grate a small amount over roasted vegetables. Add it to soups. Sprinkle it over a warm grain bowl. Or fold it into eggs if you still enjoy eggs and want a stronger protein meal. And if your appetite is low, Parmesan can help because its flavor makes simple food more appealing without you needing to add a lot of volume. Now, a quick caution, Parmesan can be high in sodium. If you are on a sodium restriction or you are managing blood pressure, use smaller amounts and balance it with fresh, lower sodium foods the rest of the day. And if dairy does not agree with you, you can still get excellent protein from the non-dairy options we already covered. Now for food number 1, this is the one almost no one over 60 is using. Yet it may be one of the easiest ways to add high-quality protein when chewing is hard, appetite is low, or meals feel too heavy. Food number 1, dried fish powder. In clinical nutrition, concentrated fish protein is sometimes used when someone needs high-quality protein but appetite is low, or chewing is difficult. This is not a trendy supplement. It is simply lean fish that has been dried, then ground into a fine powder. When you remove the water from lean fish, what remains is a very concentrated source of protein per 100 grams. Per 100 grams, a true dried fish powder can be extremely high in protein, often in the 60 to 80 gram range. Always check the label, because moisture and processing can change the number. And because it is a powder, it can be mixed into foods you already eat, without changing your routine much. Here's how people use it. You can stir a small amount into soup, mix it into stew, blend it into mashed vegetables, or add it into savory oatmeal right after cooking, so it blends smoothly. And for many older adults, this solves a real problem, because it adds protein without requiring a lot of chewing. Now, this is where you need to be careful. Choose a food-grade product from a reputable source. Avoid versions with added salt, added flavoring, or heavy preservatives. And if you have a fish allergy, skip this completely. If you are sensitive to stronger flavors, start small. A little goes a long way, especially when it is mixed into a warm dish. And if you are someone who struggles to eat enough at breakfast, this can be one of the simplest ways to start the day with more protein, without forcing a heavy meal. Now let us bring this all together, because the goal is not to memorize a list. The goal is to protect your strength, so you can stay steady on your feet, stay independent, and keep doing the things you enjoy after 65. So here's a simple action plan you can follow starting today. Step 1. Pick just one food from this list to add this week. Not 5. Not 10. Just one. If you decide on one today, the main shelf-stable items from this list are also in the product shelf under the video, so you can grab one and keep it simple this week. Greek yogurt at breakfast, chickpeas at lunch, quinoa with dinner, pumpkin seeds as a topper, tempeh in a stir-fry, hemp seeds in oatmeal, Parmesan as a small add-on, or dried fish powder stirred into soup. Step 2, spread protein across your day. Instead of trying to fix everything with one big dinner, aim for protein in the morning, in the middle of the day, and at night. Small amounts repeated are often easier for older adults to tolerate and easier for your muscles to use. Step 3, make it easy. If you have low appetite, choose softer foods. If chewing is hard, use yogurt, blended foods, soups, and powders that mix in smoothly. If digestion feels sensitive, start small and build gradually. Step 4, pair protein with simple movement. Even a daily walk or a few gentle chair stands can give your body a reason to use the protein you are eating to maintain strength. And step 5, stay consistent for a few weeks. Muscle does not disappear overnight, and it does not rebuild overnight either. But the people who keep their strength after 65 are usually not doing something extreme. They are doing something simple consistently. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these foods feels easiest for you to try first? Greek yogurt, chickpeas, quinoa, pumpkin seeds, tempeh, spirulina, hemp seeds, seitan, parmesan, or dried fish powder? Tell me in the comments where you are watching from and which one you are starting with. And if this was helpful, make sure you like the video. Subscribe to Life After 65 and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next simple steps that help you stay strong, steady, and independent.